The 20-gallon tank with a deep sand cap on the substrate has had several months to fill in now, and since it has lots of compost as fertilizer, the plants are doing extremely well, and with very little nutrients allowed to escape into the water column, algae is kept at a minimum. The fast-growing Java moss and water wisteria also help to reduce the nutrients in the water column and keep the algae down. I only have 2 Amano shrimp in the tank. They don't do a lot of algae eating, but I am hesitant to introduce cherry shrimp into the tank because they will quickly reproduce, and I do love cherry shrimp, but it's kind of nice to have a tank that doesn't include them if I can keep algae down in their absence. If you look closely, you'll see that I've also added some floating plants called Salvinia to this tank. This floating aquatic plant propagates quickly and tends to rid the water column of nutrients to keep algae down. And since the plants are larger, they're easy to remove if you tire of them, unlike duckweed, which is so tiny and easily propagated that once it's introduced, it's nearly impossible to get rid of it in a tank. Salvinia, of course, looks much better from the top. The rescape of this 10-gallon planted cherry shrimp tank is beginning to come together now that the plants are filling in. On the right side of the tank, you can see that this Anubias is doing quite well in a rather shaded area. From this side of the tank, you can see a couple of species of Anubias. There's the normal Anubias barteri with the large leaves, overshadowing several Anubias nana, which have much smaller leaves. I do believe it's the same species. It's simply a different variant. I'm very pleased with this dwarf Sagittaria. It's right happy over here in this darkened corner. It's getting bigger. Still no daughter plants, but I'm hopeful it'll put some out soon. I have yet to see any blackbeard algae return to the tank since I removed the large driftwood ornament in the center that was covered in it. But since I immediately wrapped the large driftwood ornament in the center with Java moss, seems to keep it kind of shaded so that there doesn't appear to be any algae growing on it. I think the numerous cherry shrimp in this tank also tend to keep algae under control. I ensure that there's food available for them basically 24/7, but I alternate canned green beans without salt or blanched broccoli with prepared foods, so they're only getting the shrimp pellets, fluval, bug bites, that type, every other day. There's always some leftovers for the shrimp and the shrimplets to pick at. There's very little algae. The plants are doing well, and the shrimp are right happy.